Hey gang, Scott here in this video talking about some new features that were added to Lightroom Classic for masking. We have feather and edge controls now for a lot of our masks. This was something that came into Camera Raw through Photoshop maybe a few months back as I record this, and it's percolated its way into Lightroom, which we kind of expect. That tends to be the pattern from Adobe. They put new features into Camera Raw and they make their way into the other products. I'm going to show you how these work, where you'll find them, which masks that do have them, and which masks that don't have them, and of course, a practical example for when you're going to use them. Let's dive in. We are talking about masking, so let's get our masking panel open, and let me just do select sky on this. And here are our new controls, feather and edge. Now, if you are familiar with masking at all, like a brush where you can control the edge, which is kind of the size of the brush, and then the feather, where does the full strength of the brush end until it tapers off to the outer edge, that's our feather, right? So now we have these controls for other masks, like in this case, sky. And I'm showing this as a white on black mask just to make it very easy to see. And I'm not changing any of the controls, so we can just look at the mask. What does feather do? Let's just push feather to the right, and you'll see as I start moving it to the right, the mask gets, fuzzier, gets blurrier. It's getting the various changes between areas that are masked and areas that are not masked smoothed out. And so you can push this to the nth degree and get something probably unusable in this particular case, but you can just taper off the softness, the transitions of your mask. So that's what feather is doing. What edge does is you can either expand or contract the mask. So let's take feather back to 0 and look at edge now. Now, as I push edge to the right, we'll see the mask kind of grow. And so when we're watching, let's go ahead and zoom in, maybe right here. So we put that up, everything right there on the screen. As I do the edge to the right, you'll see that mask grows into the hill, right? The hill is shrinking, right? Here it was around where it began. That hill is shrinking because the mask is growing. The area that I'm affecting is creeping into these hills, and vice versa. I can take the edge backwards and back things off and say, I want less of that edge. I want that mask to be smaller. Resetting them. That's I guess one other thing I'll point out right here, right now. You normally, I'm used to double clicking on the name of something. That doesn't work with feather and edge, but if you double click on the pin, that'll take it back to nominal. So recapping, feather will smooth the mask. The transitions get softer, and edge can either grow the masked area, push it to the right, or it can shrink the masked area, push it to the left. Now, feather and edge are available for about half of the masking tools that we have in Lightroom. They're not available for everything, and there's a reason why. Let's do a quick recap on what you have them for and what you don't have them for. So up in our masking area, create a new mask. We have subject, sky, background, people, landscape, and objects. All of these things you have access to feather and edge. We saw sky. In this case, if I select people, that's not going to work in this photo, but let's just select landscape and let's say water. We can see the water down here. Create that mask. And sure enough, here's our feather. We can soften that up. Here's the edge. We can grow that. We can shrink it. And we have those controls. Now, why don't I have them for the others? Well, let's take a look at brush. I mentioned earlier, here's my brush. I already have feather. Right? It's right here. I have feather, and size is effectively my edge. So you've already had these controls for a long time with the brush. The same thing for the gradients. You got the linear gradient and the radial gradient. Here's the linear gradient. Let's just draw it on here. I've already got feather, right? I've already got edge. It's all one big control. The same thing if I were to add a radial gradient. We have the feather, which is controlled here, and then effectively the shaping of the radial becomes the edge, right? So if we take feather to 0, we have a hard edge. We feather it out. We've had this for a long time. The same is true with the range masks. Now, color range, that one's an interesting one to point out. Let's just pick that as a highlight there. Refine is kind of like your your edge. You can shrink and grow the impact of the mask. Would it be nice to have a feather here? I could see some cases where that would be helpful. Don't have it. Maybe that'll come in a future update. Who knows? Enough people ask for it. Maybe. What about luminance range masks? Let's grab one of those real quick and just pick some range there. So for luminance range, we don't have any of those controls. It's all built into the luminance range, widget itself. These are our feathers, and we have feathering on both sides, the shadow side and the highlight side. So that's kind of why you only see feather and edge for, roughly speaking, half of the masks that you have, because the original tools, the brushes, the gradients, the range masks, you kind of already have that built in. Okay, so that's how edge and feather work. How about a practical example? Let's have a look at a different photo for that. So in this image, I have some foreground rocks, kind of this first one here, and then I have some midground rocks, some background rocks. Let's go ahead and do a mask for, let's say we'll select the subject. How about just the subject? We'll just do select subject, and that got a pretty good selection, but I'm interested in doing something with the midground rock. So I don't want, if I turn off my mask for a moment, I don't want this one here in the foreground. I don't want these here. Here's an example of where feather and in particular edge can help us. So if I want to not do that triple dot, I want to subtract an object, and I'll use the box mode here. And I just want to get that first shape there. You see how it kind of leaves this edge around the selection. I notice this happens quite a bit when you're doing a subtraction. Well, I used to have to go grab the brush and paint some things around and so forth. Well, now I can just take edge and push it up and just kind of go, right about there is probably pretty good. This case, I'd probably still go ahead and do a subtract with a brush to take care of these pieces here, because I don't want to grow the edge so much that it bleeds into my midground object too much. But let's go ahead and keep going. I could subtract these objects here, and once again it leaves that halo. This is an important point about feather and edge. You saw on the first object I increased the edge to 14. The second object, I have another set of feather and edge controls, so I can do whatever I need to do with this edge and just push it all the way and make it disappear, and then I could work so on down the line with these other ones. And once I'd done that work, for the sake of argument, I'd probably be doing something like, doing some clarity on those midground ones, getting some texture in there, trying to get some separation between those elements, and then fine tune that mask based on what I see in the photo there. But that's just one example of using edge in particular. Feather, I think, is pretty intuitive. We use that in a variety of different selections, and if you're doing an object selection and you want it to be a little bit softer, you can do that. I find edge is, I'm really turning to it often. In this case I just showed you, when I'm subtracting an object or some other AI selection where it leaves a little bit of a ridge. One other thought about edge that might occur is something like halo control around skies and so forth. It can help, although the halo is really created when you have a high contrast boundary, and the selection of the high contrast boundary is you can make that as precise as you want, but if you push that contrast too much, you may still see some haloing effects. So you can fiddle with edge to back some of that off. Although I find, like often with landscapes, the sky selection is really where you start to notice some of those problems. I have a different video about a more precise sky selection. It involves a couple of sky masks put together in an interesting way. I'll put a card or a link up here for that. But halos, you might have success, but you may still have to turn to some more tried and true methods of really getting in there with additional selective masks to get rid of those halos. But I hope you found the video useful. Got questions about feather or edge? Drop them below. And until next time, my name is Scott Davenport. Have fun.